Hello everybody, Jeep here. I have another rare English video for you. So last week was Steam Next Fest, and if you don't know what that is, it's where Steam hosts an event a couple times a year where developers can put up demos of their upcoming games for people to try and play. What I usually do is I filter through all of those games. There's like tens of thousands of games basically, or demos, and I try to find the ones that are Korean made and I play those, and I give feedback to those developers and try to, I don't know, just share their games, which might be a little bit buried under the tide of tons of demos. So this is all the games that I played. I ended up playing 35 games total. There was actually a few other ones that I couldn't get to work, and so I didn't end up playing those. But yeah, so it was these 35 games. I'm just going to talk through all the games I played in the order I played them, say what I think about them, since the Korean videos might be inaccessible. I really don't spend time on subtitling and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just going to describe what I played. Let's go. Okay, so the first thing is this game called Blood High. I'll just have the trailers playing in the background while I talk. This is by a developer called Olaf Games, and just a little bit. So Olaf Games, I've actually done translations for 2 of their games, and I think this is now their 4th game. I didn't do any work on this one when I played it for Next Fest. It was the first time I'd actually seen it or even heard of it. I didn't realize they were working on something. And so it's pretty cool. I mean, you can see exactly what it is. It was fun. It was high energy. I thought it was a little bit too hard for me. And I don't know. I'm not super into like this type of roguelike, I guess. But it was cool. It was fine for what it was. It had like a funny like vampire theme going on to it. I think you're carrying your own head, and you're like, stealing the blood of enemies by throwing your head around. You can activate superpowers. So Blood High is like, you're high on blood. So yeah, cool concept. I liked it. I should have learned the keystroke for going to the next video. Let's see. Oh no. Well, I'll just do it like this. Sorry, everybody. All right, so next one. This one is called Bourbon Risky. So it's like bourbon whiskey, but bourbon risky. Very, very simple 2D like boss boss battle game, boss rush game. I didn't really like it. I thought it was a little too hard. It took me a while to figure out the concept. So you can see here, if you dash through red lasers, then that will charge up your super shot. And to kill enemies, sometimes you have to do a super shot to like damage them in certain states and stuff like that. It was fine. It was just, I don't know. It was very, very rough and I don't know, a little too hard for me. But I don't know. The bosses seemed cool. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna try to move through these a little bit quicker. Okay, so Break Shot. This one is like a combination between Pool and Balatro. You can see the obvious Balatro influences. So you're trying to get like high scores based on all these like crazy multipliers and stuff like that. It was fine. Not my style of game. It was fine. There's definitely a lot of polish put into it, and it seems like people who really love Balatro and want something like a little bit different, I think they'll probably enjoy this. But, yeah, not my thing. Okay, Deckland. So this one, I'm stalling for time because I honestly don't remember what this is. Is this like a... Oh, right. Okay, yes. So this is a Slay the Spire type game, but you have a 2D, like, not 2D, you have a position on where you can move left or right to like dodge attacks and like move around and like get closer in and do attacks. So it has a little bit of like crossover with Darkest Dungeon and stuff like that. It was okay. I don't know. I actually do like this type of game. There's a lot that's not finished. In fact, all of these games are not finished. They're just demos, right? Work in progress games in general. So I don't know. I think there's a lot to do here to make it more fun. But I did kind of like the mechanic where you would see, the danger zone where they were going to attack, and you would kind of dodge out of the way to deal with it. So it was fine. Let's move on. Next, we have Elemental Soul. This, again, I'm stalling for time. I know I didn't like this game, but I don't remember what exactly was happening in it. Yeah, it was just like very, very, very basic and unfinished, and I don't know. It needs a bunch of work. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what it looks like. It's just a kind of an unpolished, unfinished game. Yeah, that's that. Oh, I remember. There was one little mechanic to it, is that you can see the head on your character changes color. So you have 3 different colors you can change to, and it's sort of a rock, paper, scissors, where the enemies you're fighting, you want to have a color that is better than their color, and you have to kind of swap them around, and you can swap the color to also avoid damage and stuff like that. So that was an okay concept. I kind of felt like it just needs a lot of work. That's pretty much all to say about that. For Zekel. Okay, so this one is a horror game in first person, like horror adventure story game. So you're in a hotel where a bunch of people have turned into monsters, but you and a couple other people are not monsters. And so you're sort of arguing about what to do, and you have to sneak around, and then you're in the dark, and there's monsters who want to eat you, and you have to avoid them and run away. Yeah, that's the game. It was fine. The dialogue was actually okay. The sneaking around part, I keep saying this, I guess. This is the theme this time, this isn't really my genre of game. I don't like horror games that much, not the spooky kind like this. So, I don't know. It was fine. What's next? Again, not my genre. So this one... This is an auto-battler game, but it's done in first person, which was a little bit different and interesting. So basically, you're gearing up your character with like specific items based on the fights that you know you're going to get into. You can kind of like see what your opponent has and what their strengths and weaknesses are, and try to like swap out your gear. And then it takes you into this auto-battle mode where like what you're seeing play out just happens automatically. I don't think you have any influence. It's just based on what you pre-equipped. The art style was super cute. I did like that, but I don't know, not my thing. I promise there's some games here that I liked. Okay, this one I really loved. So this is Coma 3, the Coma 3. It's from a series of games. I played the first one, I loved it. I played the second one, I loved it. There was a third one called the Coma 2B, like Class 2B. I only played the demo for it, and that was actually at a different Steam Fest, and it was so slow and so boring. It was so much dialogue, nothing was happening. Maybe eventually, like, it would like turn into something better, but I played it for like, it feels like more than an hour, and I never got to any real gameplay. This was the complete opposite. The demo was excellent. This was maybe the best version of the Coma I've seen. The art style is really amazing. They're doing they keep evolving the art style and evolving like how they animate and stuff, and like the setting, like a lot of the story stuff, like all of it was tying together with the rest of the series, really pushing into kind of like some new types of gameplay that I hadn't seen the series do before, and it was working really well. So very impressed with this demo, very, very much loved it. Much better than Class 2B, which I found so boring. And the setting is very, very Korean, like in all the backgrounds and stuff like that. You get a very good sense of place when I've traveled to Korea, very much like the way I remember it. I mean, not the zombies, obviously, but yeah, very cool. Great game, love it. We'll definitely play it when it comes out. Okay. So this is called Girl of the Ruins. These all have Korean names too, by the way. I'm not going to bother because it's an English video. But this one was like it was kind of surreal a little bit. It's like you are trying to do good deeds around town. I don't know if you're like a divine being or a god, or you just work at an agency where your job is to do good deeds. But like there's a kid who loses their cat, and you have to go find the cat. And you have to collect the right items to be able to get the cat and give it back to the kid. But there's also like this weird horror element to it, which I like came out of nowhere. Like, well, at the start of the game there actually was like a warning that says, by the way, there's going to be jump scares in this game, like that. And I was like, jump scares? That's so weird. And while you're looking around for this cat, you look at one trash can and suddenly like this crazy like jump scare zombie pops out. It's just like, why is this in this game? I don't know. Maybe it like pays off later and like it feeds into the story, but like very strange, very unusual. It was all right. I liked the dialogue a lot. It was cute. Yeah, watching this trailer now, it looks like maybe there is like a more of that kind of like mystery, spooky element that kind of bleeds into it. So I'm kind of curious where it goes. This was another one that had like a lot of cool atmosphere. Like if you look at the art style, it's like, you know, very, very unique or very specific and felt like it reflected like some Korean culture type things. Like some of the poorer towns, which in Korean they would call Taedongnae, which means like town of the moon. It's hard to explain why it's called that, but it's like they're sort of like non-legal towns where people like shanty towns kind of things. That's what it reminded me of. Okay, so this one, Ham Story. I didn't find this very fun. It you know, it's one of these games. It's the Bennett Foddy style, you know, jump king, basically jump king. You fall and you lose a lot of progress. That's super frustrating. You can dash? Maybe that's a new ability. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't see that in the game, but anyway, I don't know. Too hard, not my thing. I hate losing progress like that. I love some of these games, but this is not one of them. It's cute. It's cute though. Okay, this game's crazy. This one, like you can see here, the art style is very, very bizarre. It's a story-based adventure game, dialogue game. You're like this character who knows about occult stuff and has some magical powers, and you go to like a town where there's some weird stuff happening, you're investigating. So it's kind of a detective mystery game. But also, like, I guess you see this sometimes in Korean dramas. There is sometimes just some really bizarre, like, slapstick humor that just comes out of nowhere. Like the total, like, there's a huge tonal shift where suddenly it'll become a comedy, and it's weird. It's kind of, I guess, like a little bit Ace Attorney, which is like more on the comedy side, and this is more on the like much darker side. So it was a weird blend. It's definitely got its own mythos going on. It had some cool elements. I don't know. I didn't really want to play it more after I played this demo, but I think that some people would really love it. Okay, so Heite. I actually don't know what Heite means. I think it's just the character's name, but maybe there's something behind that. As you can see, this is a very like traditional, well, not just traditional, like fantasy based in Korean fantasy. It has a lot of Korean fantasy elements, which was cool to see. That was actually another theme of this Steam Next Fest, is seeing a lot more games that used Korean culture or Korean like fantasy. What's the word? Like old Korean epics and concepts from that. I'm wondering if this trend is coming from like K-pop Demon Hunters being so popular, which is making it maybe a little bit more palatable, a little bit more marketable to have some of these more traditional Korean elements. So it's interesting. In previous Next Fest, maybe I would see one or maybe two games that had this, but there was quite a few. So the game itself, it was fine. It was an action game. There was like some action and you know, it's kind of Zelda-ish, like Zelda-light, and it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It was a decent boss battle. There was a decent puzzle, I think. The story was cool. The characters were cool. So yeah, it was fine. I think there's more work to do there, but I think it's a good solid base. Kimbap Heaven Simulator. So yeah, again, you get some very Korean influence here. You know, the streets outside of here look very much like a Korean place. The inside looks like a Korean place with one exception. The tables don't have the drawers that you pull out that have like the silverware and the chopsticks inside. I was really surprised that detail was missing. This is made by the developer who made Onchi Playtime, I think it's called, which is basically a programming game, a game for programmers who can program. So I think this is the only other game that they've done. So this was like it was only like partway through, or maybe even after I finished the demo, that I realized it was by the same developer. I had no idea. It's very, very simulation heavy. It's like, I mean, it's not like obviously super realistic, but it tries to like, you have to like order all the ingredients in bulk, and you have to like chop them up and prepare them, and then you have to combine them. And people take orders, and like you can see leave reviews and stuff. And so over time, you're sort of building up the kimbap empire. And for people who don't know, kimbap, it's a rice roll that has like vegetables and sometimes meat in it. It's a little bit different than sushi, like especially flavor-wise. But yeah, that's what it is. So it was interesting. People who like simulator games, you might like this. I thought it was cool. Okay, so this one, this was another Balatro kind of, remix, or a very different take on Balatro. So you are a witch, you're making these potions, and you're dropping in ingredients, and you're trying to get a specific, or up above a specific score. That's the Balatro part. And each time you try, you get to pick a new ingredient that you'll also be able to drop into the pot. And the drop is completely random, and how they bounce off each other is completely random. But you're trying to set up these combos that are more likely to happen based on the ingredients you chose, and beat higher and higher scores each time, or the customers come in and they have a specific request. I thought the dialogue was cool. I thought the characters were cool. Like the setting felt very unique. This was a very different take on Balatro, where it didn't feel like a straight up clone in any way at all. It was, its own thing. So it was neat. The ingredients themselves, they did a good job of tying the theme of what that ingredient does to what it looks like, and they all they have pretty unique abilities and stuff. So it seems like they're doing a lot of things right with this. Yeah, it was cool. So this one was very surprising. This I feel like normally would be my type of game. It was very, very surreal story adventure game, which is the type of game I love. But this one was so bizarre. It was so off the rails. The comedy was so like wacky, zany, like in your face, like crazy. It felt like this might be a sequel to something, because the character felt like so established in like their tone and their style. They were kind of like very childish, and like they made all kinds of jokes and were like very in their own imagination, and had like a lot of imaginary friends, and like it was bizarre. Like they were doing all this stuff with like toys and stuff. This was a little too far for me. Like it was maybe one step too far, but very unique, very surreal. I guess maybe you could enjoy it on those terms. I don't know if this has any English in it. It might be Korean only. Yeah, this is actually Korean only. Very crazy game. I don't know. I'm not sure if I would play it again. But hats off to the creator. They got their own thing going. So this one, Macaronopolis, where you're making macarons, which is the French like crispy. I don't know what those are actually made of, rice or something, but like those little cookies with the chewy, fruity middle. Koreans really love macarons. That's like, you see those sold all over in Korea and bakeries and stuff like that. It's just like a big thing for them. It might be bigger than in France. I don't know. But yeah, here's a game where you build a factory that makes macarons. I think this is it feels pretty boilerplate to me, like for this type of factory game. Like you see like different themes of this, but it was like very similar to those. Like, you combine things and then you have a product at the end, and you just have to set up the conveyor belts. It didn't really feel like a puzzle, other than like the efficiency of like how quickly you can do it, or if you can sort of skimp on certain ingredients or things like that. I don't know. I generally don't like this type of factory game without like a stronger puzzle element. And this felt more like automation for automation's sake, which some people absolutely love. You know, there's Satisfactory and there's Infinifactory and like things like that. So I don't know. If you like that type of game, you might like this. Not my thing. And the tutorials were really heavy in that game, which I didn't really enjoy that much. Okay, so then Maids of Storm. Very weird title for a game. I think the reason it's called that is I think Storm is the name of the restaurant that we're running. So if you know what a maid cafe is, you know what a maid cafe is. It's a Japanese thing, really. But in Korea there are also maid cafes. But the maid cafes in Korea are for Japanese otaku style fans in Korea. So people who live in Korea who are huge fans of like Japanese culture and anime and games and stuff like that are also a fan of maid cafes because they're a Japanese thing. And so if you go to a maid cafe in Korea, then they will speak Korean, obviously, but a lot of the things that they say will be like Japanese phrases, like when you walk in the door and they greet you and they say blah blah blah. Sorry, I don't know Japanese. They say blah 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 in Japanese, and like when they serve you food and when they like when they sing songs for you, those will probably be Japanese songs, things like that. So it's a very Japanese culture thing, but it's in Korea. So I don't know. Maybe you could call this Korean culture in a way. But yeah, so you're managing a maid cafe. You like have to hire, I think they're randomized, but you have to hire your staff, and different staff people have different like strengths and weaknesses, and you can train them to like improve their skills over time. So it has a little bit of like Princess Maker kind of vibe to it, but you're also running the full cafe, and so it has like definitely like a simulation sort of element as well. And then your customers, like you're trying to make repeat customers so that your business improves over time, and you're improving the facilities. And as the day goes, when you when you simulate a day in the cafe, like customers will do like little mini games, which is a thing that happens in real maid cafes. Like you can say, I want to play rock, paper, scissors with you, or I want to do like, I don't know what all the games are. I have been to a maid cafe once in Japan and once in Korea, so that's where my knowledge comes from. But there's these little mini games you can play, and if you win, then you get a little prize. And so when the mini games happen in this cafe, in this game, you do a little mini game, and the better you do, the more cash you can get from the customers and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's weird. It's like it's a little bit. I wouldn't say it's cynical, but it's like a heightened reality version of a maid cafe, where a maid cafe is a heightened version of reality. So it's like a heightened version of reality in a way. So I don't know. It's what it is. It's interesting. It's got some fan service stuff, but it's a little bit grounded too. It's interesting. It's a cool mix. I think it's a pretty cool simulator game, and if somebody's like a big fan of maid cafes, they're just gonna love this. I think it's cool. I'm not a big fan of maid cafes, but I did like the game. Mask of Soul. This was a Metroidvania sort of very much. What's that popular game that everybody loves? Soul. It's not coming to mind. The game where you're a bug and you fight things, and then there's the spider one that just came out. Sorry that I can't think of the name. My mind's just blank right now. But you can look at this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's that type of game. It's very, very much that. I felt that the controls were not very refined. The controls were a little bit weak and made it like not so fun to play, like moment to moment. The art style was really cool. The bosses and enemies, like the designs and stuff, looked cool. They felt like maybe too much of Silk Song is the sequel. What's the original one? It's Hollow Knight, yeah. So it felt like maybe too much of, I don't want to say rip off, but like too closely related to Hollow Knight. It was like very, very, very much Hollow Knight. And I like it when a game can take inspiration from something that's popular and go a bit of a different direction with it or put kind of their own spin on it. And this felt maybe a little too close. But here you can see they are doing some of that that Korean culture and mysticism and like fantasy type stuff. All those elements are pulled into it. There was a different game that I played that was also a Hollow Knight clone, or it's very similar to Hollow Knight, called I think it was called Nine Doors is the English title, and that game is really great. I love Nine Doors. It's one of my favorite games. Maybe in my top. I don't know. I'll just give it top 30. It's a very good game. This game did not feel as polished as that. And Nine Doors is another one that takes a lot of elements from like Korean fantasies and fairy tales and stuff like that. So I don't know. I would pick that over this, but this is not finished. Maybe it'll get better. What's this game called? Massive Soul. Okay. Please, one more brick. I thought this was terrible, but the concept was cool. So basically, it's Ultimate Chicken Horse, but there's an online element where the daily challenge, lots of people throughout the day will add more elements to the challenge, making it harder and harder. So instead of being like a couch co-op version of Ultimate Chicken Horse, it's more online, but it evolves over the course of a day.
이번 아웃 오브 인덱스를 위해 Please One More 블럭이라는 게임을 만들었어요.
Oh, that's the developer talking. But
게임의
anyway.
아이디어는 간단해요. 슈퍼 마리오와 같은 형태의 플랫포머 장르 게임입니다.
So anyway.
크게 다른 점은 도움 버튼이죠. 이걸 누르면
But
다른
the problem
사람...
was this game was the controls were really bad and it was kind of confusing. It just felt like a mess. Of course, game in development, it could get better. There's a lot to do here. It's not done. So yeah, did not enjoy. Okay, so this one is by the same developer who did the hamster game that I showed earlier, the Jump King hamster game. But this is just like, it's not a game. It's literally a sticker book. So characters from the game, you can put little stickers on the thing. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Very cute. Quick Cast. This was maybe my favorite game of all the things I played in Next Fest. So it's Slay the Spire, but the cards that you're choosing from are just these like elemental symbols. And in the main playing board, you're sort of playing them onto the stacks that already exist. And if you make a stack of 2 or 3, it has a different effect for whether it will end up hurting your enemy or hurting you. And so you have to predict what cards that the enemy is going to play after you play based on what they have, they have in their deck and based on the character that it is. They also have like special abilities. The thing I loved about this game is the rules are so simple. And you can play it so fast because you get your hand of cards and you kind of immediately know what you want to do or what you expect them to do. And so you play your card, you see what they play, you see the result, and there's just this constant cycle of like, quickly playing, seeing the result. Like the fact that it's called Quick Cast is like a perfect name because that's what it is. You're just really quickly like playing out your hand. And the flow of the game was like so nice. I liked it. And I've seen this in only one other game. There's probably a bunch of other games that do this, but instead of going with the Slay the Spire, like kind of branching paths to like, try to like, get to the boss battle and like get certain types of encounters along the way. Instead, they'll do this grid where you're sort of uncovering the grid as you complete sections. And you can sort of optionally do the boss when you're ready or continue to explore. I really, really like this style. I wish that more games, instead of doing the branching path thing, would do this. Because I feel like in this is only 2 games so far, but in the 2 games I've played that have that, really, really like it. I think it's pretty interesting. It has a lot of advantages over the branching path style, which I'm very tired of. I hate seeing whenever I see that again, I'm just like, oh no. So yeah, cool game. Great art style. The dialogue was just quick and snappy, like very nice. Of course, when I talk about the dialogue, I'm always talking about in Korean. I don't know what the English translations are like, so maybe they're better or worse. But yeah, Cool game. Very recommended. Oh, so this game was awful. This was maybe the worst thing I played in Next Fest. So it's just an AI chatbot where the scenario is sort of preset. That there's a girl whose car has broken down, but as you'll see in this picture, the car is in the middle of the street, and so I sort of had fun with it. I was like typing in the chat saying, "Hey, your car's parked in the middle of the street. You need to pull it over to the side. You're blocking traffic." And she'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like blah blah blah. And then I was like, okay, I role played a little bit. I was like, okay, I know there's a place we can get your car fixed. It's a short walk from here. Let's walk down there and see if they can call a tow truck for you. And she's like, okay, let's do that. But then the next scene, you're in the car, literally driving the car. And even though, we had agreed to go walk somewhere. I'm like, why are we in the car? And also the car has a flat tire. Why are we driving it? And also, why am I driving it? Why am I driving your car? And so I'm typing like, oh, this is so dangerous. We can't be driving your car like this. And she's like, I know. But it just, even though the dialogue was responding to you, the gameplay itself was not. And it was clearly a chatbot. Also, the dialogue would like come in multiple sentences, but it wouldn't pause for you to read. It would just auto advance to the next sentence, so you didn't have time to finish reading what they were saying without reading super fast. So it's just bad. It's bad all around. It looked terrible. I don't know. Hurts my head. Shooting Girls. This was okay. I was kind of surprised by this one. I usually don't like this kind of like multiplayer head-to-head versus game. But this was like very, very simple, and it had like very like clear inputs on how you fight. It felt more strategic because of the way you move around so slowly. And I felt like this might be, I don't know if they're making a mobile game out of this or if this previously was a mobile game or what. But it feels like it's just simple enough that it could like work on a lot of different types of platforms. It has like this kind of Bomberman sort of vibe to it in terms of like how it moves and how you strategize around stuff. Yeah, and you like level up your character over time, and you got some different battles and stuff. I only played versus AI, as far as I know. I don't think there's another bug, but it seems like there's a design for like it. It was cool. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this. It wasn't like great, but I could understand. I could see the potential.
In
right.
1592, 150,000
So here's another.
samurai.
So this whole video and everything
and
is
invaded
obviously
Korea.
AI generated,
The
which is like
capital
really
fell in
frustrating.
20
This is not what the
days,
game looks
but
like.
the mountains were merciless.
But you can see that
Tigers,
this is very, very
gorillas,
based
starvation.
on
The
Korean
invaders
history
were
and
dying
culture.
without a
There's
single
this
survivor
very, very
in
famous
sight.
general
Their warlord
who
commanded, "Send everything by
had
sea. If those ships arrive,
so he's a naval
Korea
general,
falls.
had a fleet
If
of
they don't,
boats, and
the
the
invaders
boat
die.
style was shaped like a
Between
turtle.
Japan's fleet
That
and
was
the
like
end
one of their
Korea
like
stood
visual
one
trademarks.
admiral
And he
one
won
ship.
some like very, very
Stop the supply
large,
ships,
important
sink their
battles
escorts.
using these
This
turtle ships
was your
versus
war.
Japan and versus other countries. And so, in terms of like really, he's probably the most famous Korean general, like super well known. And so there's like lots of movies and lots of books and comics and animes and like everything that's based on this like real life history and character. And so here's a game that's based on that. And the game is like, you can see like it's like a vampire survival type game, but you're sort of upgrading your boat, and one of your main abilities is just literally to ram into other ships and destroy them. And so this is kind of what the game looks like. It's so over the top and ridiculous, and like even though it has a historical context, obviously you can see it's not like historically accurate. Is maybe the dumbest thing I could say, but it's insanely silly. I didn't like it. It was too chaotic. There was too much going on, and like I don't know. It was overwhelming to like try and play this game, and like even more than a normal Vampire Survivor game. But I don't know. If you look at this and this looks fun, then maybe you would enjoy it. Not my thing. Okay, so this was another Hollow Knight type game, this one I enjoyed much more than the other one. It had its own style to it, it had its own feel, and the feel was good. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Just there was a lot about this game that felt right. The characters felt cool, and so I enjoyed this quite a bit. This is by a developer that did another game that I really liked, and I don't remember what. So I'm just gonna give myself a hint. Right, Lapin. So Lapin is a precision platformer, kind of like Celeste, that I absolutely love. It was my favorite game that I played last year. It was the best game I played last year. And I'm still playing through it. I haven't finished it yet, talking about Lapin. But I'm trying to get all the way to the end because I just love that game so much. So I was really excited to see that they're doing a new game and that their new game is great. It's pretty different from their previous game. It's building on a lot of stuff that I think they did well. So this is exciting. It's cool. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Looks good. Yeah, felt good. I would say definitely give this demo a try. I mean, it's rough because to say like, oh, it's a Hollow Knight game. If you've played and loved Hollow Knight, I think a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's like Hollow Knight but not as good, which is true in some sense. But it does have some of its own like unique characteristics that I think make it worth playing separate from Hollow Knight if you enjoy Hollow Knight. So yeah, that's that. Solitaria. Yeah. Soul Trigger. This one's weird. It's like future post-apocalypse where there's like all these zombies and robots and stuff. The story, I don't know. I didn't really jive with it, but it's like very like you can just see by looking at it. It's like kind of like teenish and has like kind of like a lot of like fashion sense to it. And like it felt kind of like slick in some ways. You can see Darkest Dungeon influences obviously in both the art style and the gameplay. But yeah, it's these turn-based battles where sort of like the other one I talked to you about, you can move left and right and avoid danger. Between the two, I enjoyed this one more in terms of the gameplay. It felt like they were doing a lot more interesting like strategy interactions and like you used your weapons in more interesting ways. You could swap between characters and get different abilities. There was some cool stuff there. The dialogue and story felt like a little bit overblown, like it was like a little bit too self-serious maybe, but and a little bit into its own lore a little too much, but it did seem like it was building a pretty like unique like world. It had some interesting ideas, they just weren't quite working for me. So I'm interested to see where this one goes. It's not a game I would play, but I think they're trying and doing some cool stuff, and if you like turn-based strategy, like Darkest Dungeon style combat, this is a new, unique take on it. So it was cool. It was all right. So here's another game that's very, very rooted in Korean folklore, like more than maybe any other game I've ever played. Like, so I actually just to study and for fun, I read Korean like fairy tales, like children's fairy tales. There's like hundreds of them that are just around. And the characters in this game, like every single character is like from a different fairy tale story. So if you've ever seen like, I mean Shrek would be an example, but if you've seen like fairy tale mashup, like Tales of Grimm type mashup things in English, this is the Korean equivalent of that. It's like taking all of these totally separate like stories and universes and just mashing them together, and it's hilarious. Like they're like using these characters in like a very funny and interesting way. They're like really playing on the tropes that these characters have. I don't know that it works for like a foreign audience. Like I don't know that you'd understand all these references, but they're there. It's cool. So then the game itself is like very simple, like a wagering and bluffing style game. So you have these number pieces, and you'll get some into your hand. You decide which one to play to try to beat the opponent, and then you can sort of like double down on your bet or like sort of modify your play secretly. There's a little bit of hidden information. And then based on that, like going through a bunch of rounds, eventually like you get enough points to defeat your opponent. And each time you defeat an opponent, you can upgrade your tiles with sort of like these different elemental abilities. So it has kind of like, Slay the Spire, like deck building elements to it. But it's, it's a very, very different type of gameplay because you're sort of in a battle of wits kind of with your opponent, like trying to figure out what they'll play and how you can like work around their strategy. Every character that you fight against has their own like unique strategy that's related to their folklore and stuff. So very clever, interesting game. I thought the art style was really ugly. I think it's cool that they're trying for something 8-bit and kind of like retro like this, but they're lacking some skill in that department, and it needs a lot of work there. Again, these are work in progress. They could fix the art. They can improve that. They can improve the interface. Like you just look at this game and it makes your eyes bleed. It's a little bit ugly. Maybe that's an intentional thing. I don't know. But yeah, the art style was not working for me. The gameplay was pretty good, and the setting is fantastic, like absolutely great. Although I don't know that it would work for an audience outside of Korea for people who don't know who these characters are. So there's that. Yeah. What else we got? Oh, and the dialogue was funny too. Okay, so here's another pretty Korean game. Oh god. So it's a dating sim, which it is what it is. It's an FMV dating sim. You, as a main character, you've gone out to this very rural like village because I don't remember the reason, but it's like you're trying to run a cafe for your uncle or something. And when you get there, there's all these girls who live in that village who are trying to help you, run the cafe or date you or like intimidate you or whatever. Every character has their own personality, and it's a dating sim. It is what it is, and it's very, very like what you're seeing right here is what it is. It's very like player focused. There's very like male gaze kind of involved. And I don't know. The acting was very bad. It's on a shoestring budget. You can tell. Like the quality of the video itself is good, but like the production, there's all these like corners cut that make it like really hard to watch. But in contrast to all that, of all the dating sim, the Korean like FMV dating sims that I've played, I think that this is the one that I would go back to more than any of the others, like to like see how the story plays out and see what happens, because it was so much more grounded. Like I know that like obviously this is fantasy and like this is not how like humans behave, but in terms of like the story, it felt so much more grounded than some of the other ones I play, which have like a weird time travel element or like amnesia or like people are mutants and they're turning into animals, or like there's always like some like bizarre like weird element that's thrown in to like make it unique, where this one it did not have any of that. It was just like, no, this is a real village where people are, they're a little bit weird, but like this is the character that person is. And the dialogue reflected that. The dialogue itself was enjoyable. Like I liked learning about the characters, and I liked the scenarios it put me in, like the sort of sitcom, like the sitcom vibes, and like sort of the awkward, like weird scenarios were funny. Like the jokes were working like really well, where that's not necessarily true in all of these. It's just the acting itself that was a little bad. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad about these actors. I'm sure they're working their way up, and they'll eventually become great actors, maybe. But yeah, that's what this was. I guess I don't need to talk about this anymore than I have. Let's move on. Ultimate Control Machine. This was also a game done by a developer that I had played one of their other games, and I don't remember what. So again, I'll click and cheat to see. Gravity Castle. Yes. They did this game Gravity Castle, which is amazing. It's like a very, very good puzzle platformer, like one of the best I've played in, maybe one of the best I've played in like 5 or 10 years. Like excellent puzzle platformer, Gravity Castle. So they're doing this new game called Ultimate Control Machine. which is all right. It was definitely not bad. It's a very high concept game. As you go through the game, each section, your controls are completely different. So you start off like just simple, like WASD, but then you get sort of like tank controls, and then you get buttons on the screen that you have to click and toggle to move. And then you get like a dial and a throttle, and then you get like, I don't know, like just every section of the game is going to be something different. And it's surprising and fun each time you get like a new control scheme, like have to learn how to master it. So like you can see they're demonstrating some of those here. Very cute, great art style, great sound effects. My only real beef with this game is that it has that Bennett Foddy sort of element where when you make a mistake, you lose a lot of progress and have to like repeat a section that you already did, like a very like high precision, like difficult thing. And it felt like sometimes the mistakes were not really your own fault. It felt like the game was being a little bit cheap or a little bit unforgiving. And so that was really, really frustrating if you like failed the same section multiple times. And sometimes you would get kicked back to a previous section only to fail that and get kicked back even further to an even further previous section, which is just so demoralizing. So I don't know. I mean, like with any game you're developing, you want to like have the players feel some emotion. And if the emotion that you want the player to feel is frustration, they are doing an amazing job. Because I was insanely frustrated. But the concept of different controls, like keep changing, I love that. This game just needs a lot more polish. It needs a little more balance. It needs to feel more fair. But I liked it. I thought it was cool. Cool to see. Curious to see where they go with it. To Heaven. This was an odd one. So this is a visual novel that I think it's a dating sim, or at least I thought it would be a dating sim. But the initial premise is so bizarre. So you're on a bridge, and it looks like you are going to jump off the bridge. Like to an outside observer, it might seem that way, but based on what the character's doing, it's a misconception. And because it looks like that, suddenly your guardian angel from heaven shows up to stop you. And you're like, that's not even what I was doing. And she's like, oh. And she's like, by the way, you're not going to go to heaven because you haven't done enough good things in your life. And he's like, oh no. And so she's like, I'm going to teach you, well, since I'm already here, I'm going to help you get into heaven by telling you what you need to do, which is do nice things for other people, be a good person, be a good citizen, basically. And so like it sort of like starts out like that, and you're like, okay, so I guess this is a dating game where that angel is going to be the person you date, I guess. But then all of a sudden it completely shifts gears and it turns into a Princess Maker game. But instead of Princess Maker, like the angel is not the princess, you are the princess, your main character. You're trying to like get a better job and exercise and help people, volunteer, do nice things so that you can get points, because when you get enough points, then you can go to heaven, or you'll go to heaven. You'll be able to enter heaven when you die eventually. The premise is just so bizarre. And like the Princess Maker thing came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it to become that type of game all of a sudden. So I don't know. Maybe there's more dating elements like mixed in based on watching this trailer. I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about this game. It was very, very confusing to me. The dialogue was funny. I liked the characters. They were funny, but I don't know. Okay, so this one, Underdark. So this is a... I'm surprised there's no trailer here. I think if I go to the main page, there will be a trailer. Yeah. So this is a tower defense game, and I just hate tower defense games. It's not that I don't like them, it's that I hate them. And I only got about like 3 minutes into this before I couldn't take it. But then I was like trying to find more information about this developer, and I found out that I guess this game is like very popular. There's a lot of people who really love to play this game. Maybe it's from mobile, so it has an audience there. So I don't know. I don't want to shit on a game that a lot of people love, but tower defense games are just not for me. I did not enjoy it. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Upload Aliens. So this is kind of a Vampire Survivor type game, but like side-scrolling. I guess it's more like Risk of Rain a little bit too, but very unfocused. The art style was very hard to like wrap my head around. It's hard to see what's happening, and I don't know. I couldn't find myself engaging with it. Like it was like just I don't know, just a little too like fast, and the upgrades didn't seem that interesting. It just needs a lot of polish and a lot of focus. It's nice that it has a unique art style, but the art style itself wasn't working for me. Like it was hard to see what was going on. So there's just a lot of problems with this game. It's a work in progress. Maybe they'll make it good. There's a lot to do here. Walto. So I know I just said that previous game was not polished. This was made the least polished game of everything that I played, where it feels like it has a very clear art direction for what it's trying to do. But the gameplay itself was like so like basic and unbalanced and not fun. It's a boss rush type game, which I do love that type of game. So maybe this could turn into something cool with a lot more polish. But I don't know. It felt like it needs another like year of development at least. It's just not anywhere. It's not. It shouldn't. I think that this should not have been a demo for Steam Next Fest. It was not ready for a demo. So yeah, just put it back in the oven. It needs more work. But the art style seems all right. Okay, so this game was super like beautiful and cute in the intro and in the story. I couldn't get it to work. It did like it would go to a loading screen and it would load forever and never finish. And so I never was able to actually play the game, unfortunately, because it looks so adorable. And it's like Zelda kind of style game, Zelda Adventure. Oh wait, maybe not Zelda Adventure. What's this? Okay. So I saw this trailer after I played the game, or after I saw the intro and tried to play the game. And then I was like, maybe this isn't for me, but it looks so adorable, it looks so cute that I think I at least want to give it a shot. But wasn't able to, only saw the intro. That's all I got to say about this. The pixel art graphics are great. Vapor World. Okay, so this is the last game on the list. This one is a game that I had actually played before in previous Steam Next Fest, more than a year ago, maybe more than 2 years ago. They had it going on in Steam Next Fest. And it was like so... The controls were so floaty and weird. You can see it's kind of a Dark Souls, kind of a
Perhaps
blasphemous type game.
Maybe in a dream.
When I played it, it was really unfinished,
deep
really hard to
within the
play,
mind.
and like just kind of
It is
clunky,
called
kind of a
the
mess.
Vapor World.
But this demo, huge improvement. I
As
mean, I
the
know
dreamers
that
say,
more than a year has passed, which is
sorrow
a
becomes
long
the
time
beast.
to work on this.
Guilt
It seems like it's come so
the
far since
prison.
the first version I played. It was actually quite good
And
this time.
you,
The combat system
What is
is
it
a little
you
bit
chase?
interesting. It has like sort of a combination of like
welcome.
anticipating the
last
opponent's attacks and
awakened one.
parrying and blocking and sort of reversing momentum within battles. So it's a little bit of like a tug of war, usually kind of these one-on-one sort of sword battles. It wasn't like great, but it was cool. They're like doing something interesting with it. And the setting is like, it's got like all this, it has like a lot of like fantasy sort of elements within it, sort of supernatural elements, but it also is kind of like, has a backdrop of kind of like World War II type setting. Like sort of this, like these European towns ravaged by war. And it was cool. Like I got sucked into a little bit. I was enjoying the lore. I was enjoying the setting. I was enjoying the characters. And it has like this weird kind of like, steampunk aesthetic a little bit. And like, it's a mix of different things. it feels like you can also see a little bit of Lies of P, which is also a Korean game, in sort of the character design. But they were sort of coming or in development at the same time, so I don't think one stole from the other or anything like that, but maybe just the main characters are both based on Dune in Vapor World and Lies of P. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was great. Well, not great. I thought it was good. It showed a lot of promise, and I think that this could turn into something very interesting if they do it well. Yeah, that's all. So anyway, that was the last game I played for Steam Next Fest. I guess I'll just go back to the full list here. I'm just going to summarize really quick. Sorry, I know this is a long video and it's not edited. This style is not for everybody. I just wanted to put the information out there for anybody who wants to know what I played. So Blood High was pretty all right. Coma 3, excellent, amazing. I love it. This Girl of the Ruin was okay for a weird story game. Heite was pretty cool, like, hack and slash sort of thing. Kimbap Simulator was fine if you like simulator games. Mask of Soul, the thing I forgot to say about this game is that the dialogue was so boring. Like, I was like bored to tears by the dialogue that I eventually just started skipping ahead. I was like, I just cannot read this. So that one was not a fan of, but as an alternative, Solitaire was great. I think that's going to be like a pretty great Metroidvania type game. Quick Cast, I still think that was my favorite of the entire Next Fest. My Summer Love, no, not that one. That was terrible. Summer's Heartbeat, pretty cool FMV sort of thing. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it, but I enjoyed it, and I think I will play it again. Ultimate Control Machine is okay. I think it needs a lot of polish and balance. And Wishpot was cool. And Vapor World was also pretty cool. So yeah, Wishpot was like the sort of bluffing game. Quick Cast was the Slay the Spire, like fast card playing guessing game. And loved this game. I think this was my favorite. So yeah, if I had to put these in order, I would say Quick Cast was my number one. The Coma 3 was my number 2. Number 3, I'll just call it a tie between all the other ones I said I liked. Maybe I'll do Solteria is my number 3, and then the rest as a tie. So, yep, that's it. That's my very long video. Just a very brief announcement. I'm gonna be moving soon, and so while I'm moving, I'm gonna be too busy to play a lot of games. And so normally when I do Steam Next Fest, I will upload a video every single day. Like I'll play when I played all these games, it was over the course of many hours. Normally what I do is I upload a video every day, so I kind of burn through them really quick and then go back to my twice a week schedule. But since I'm going to be moving and I won't have time to make a lot of videos, I'm actually decided to spread out all of my Next Fest videos as just uploading twice a week. And so for the next few months, all these games that I just talked about are going to be coming out a little at a time. Some of those videos are just a single game, and some of those videos are playing through several games, depending on how long each demo took or how long it took me to give up on them. But yeah, there's, I think, 16 total videos that are going to be coming out over the next few months, 2 at a time, or 2 a week. And the only other announcement is I think I'm working on the timing of when I want to upload everything. This week, or the same week as I put up this video, I'm also putting up the playthrough of Reanimal that I did with Denby. So Reanimal is not a Korean game. It's a Swedish game, I think, Nordic at the very least. It's made by the same devs who made Little Nightmares, so I was really excited about the game. It's a co-op game, and there's a Korean streamer who I have played games with a few times and put videos on this channel. I've done live streams with her, and she's really, really funny. I really enjoy watching her streams. And we've done a bunch of collaborations in a bunch of different ways. And one of those ways is we sometimes play co-op games together. So anyway, she reached out to me and said, hey, let's play Reanimal. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we played Reanimal over the course of 2 sessions, and we did a live stream. We did a live stream on her streaming service. So in Korea, there's this streaming service called Jijijik, which is like very popular there. It's spelled with Z's. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but it's a streaming platform there. Anyway, we did a live stream with her for over 2 days. I also recorded from my screen. I didn't stream on my channel, but I just recorded so that I could make edited video is not quite right. I could make a single video that combines the 2 sessions that we did, and I'll put that up. So anyway, the next video that I'm posting is going to be that video, which is just the Reanimal that we did a few days ago or a few weeks ago, depending on when I upload this. Sorry, I don't know exactly what my schedule is going to be. I think that is all of my announcements. I'll talk more about moving after I move. Also, there is more. There's some videos that I recorded before Next Fest, playing through games that I talked about, like Lapin, which is like that rabbit jumping game. So I've been doing more videos of that, and there was some other games that I played that I put off posting until after Next Fest. But now, since Next Fest is going to be stretched out over several months, many months later, those videos will finally get posted also, because again, I'm moving. So anyway, it's just going to be a lot of backlog content I'm just going to dribble out over time. And then eventually, I don't know when, many months from now, I'm going to post some actual new videos and talk about my move and things like that. There you go. That's all the long things I wanted to say. Thanks so much for watching. I know that this is not a great format of video. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. If I messed up any information, like, please just say what I messed up, because I know that I make mistakes. I probably misunderstood something. So correct me. If you developed any of these games, pop in and say hi. And that's it. Yeah, that's all. If you want to see more videos that I do that are in English, not in Korean, there's a playlist in my channel. You can go playlists, and then there's a playlist called English Stuff. So if you look at the English Stuff playlist, you'll see just the English videos, and this video will be in there too. That's it. I think I've gone hoarse by talking so much, so I'm going to stop now. Thanks everybody so much. Subscribe if you want. It's up to you. And yeah, I'm out of things to say. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been really fun playing games like this and introducing Korean games to maybe people outside of Korea, maybe inside of Korea too. I get that feedback a lot. Anyway, that's all. Thanks so much. Bye. Bye. See you next time. Bye.